What is your promise? Why are you in business? How do you expect to grow?
This is The Hook, a show focused on branding, marketing, and business development.
You brand to inspire, not to sell.
Jason Arsmont, the marketing maverick, gives expertise to business owners, serial entrepreneurs, and anyone interested in building a stronger company brand.
Creating a brand is like telling a story. You've got one shot to say it all.
When your marketing works, you've got them on the hook.
You found it on Thanksgiving weekend, the first ever show incorporating marketing and branding, a business solution. This is The Hook. My name is Josh Reno, marketing strategist and specialist and whatever other title I can assign to my name for Brightbox Brand Marketing, along with the marketing maverick. His name is Jason Arsmont. That whole Maverick thing's sticking, right?
Yeah, it's sticking for some time.
How many times do they ask for the Maverick when they call your phone?
Yeah, that doesn't happen so much.
So it is Thanksgiving week, and I know that you're probably at home thinking, thank goodness that Black Friday is over.
Yeah. Did you partake?
I look.
You said you were going to do some online stuff. I don't know.
I did only online because I'm not going to go out in the craziness that happens at the malls or at Target or Walmart. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I'm too old for a fist fight. I can't
That's
do
right.
it.
Okay, so I'm going to go to jail because somebody pushed me and then we got into a fight over maybe a $50 electronic
coaster.
And I have to pay $500 to get out of jail. Then court costs. This isn't adding up for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, not going to happen.
The experience isn't there so much.
Yeah,
for me,
but there was some good football on TV. So I'm always happy around Thanksgiving because you got turkey, which turkey tastes good.
Turkey's good.
And there's also a lot of college football and professional football happening around this time that I love. Although, well, my LSU Tigers aren't doing that well. So anyway, we won't talk about that.
Yeah, it's always a good time to take that week off and relax. But it's such a gluttonous time of year. I mean, basically from like Halloween to Christmas, right? I mean, we just like eat too much. Everyone feels entitled to have extra sweets and candy and sugars and just more food than we would normally eat.
The problem is that whenever you eat on Thanksgiving, you eat it around noon and then the food stays out and you're eating and just grazing for, I don't know, another 5, 7, 8 hours.
Man, but it's so good.
It is good.
Yeah, it's a tough time of the year to stay focused on your health, no doubt. But we've got our guests today, are coming in later on this afternoon, are going to be Jennifer Moran and Kerry Sprick. Both of these ladies are top health professionals, and they're going to talk with us a little bit about the mental, the nutritional, the physical fitness, and how we can stay, healthy you, healthy company, healthy you, healthy business. I really believe in that. That's something that, I've followed for years. And so they're going to be in studio to talk with us a little bit about that.
There's a lot of great tips for Thanksgiving to staying in shape. And it's really about, more than anything, discipline. One of the things that I did with my family a few years ago is I did the turkey trot over in Sugar Land. Yeah. You could do stuff like that. And it even around the Christmas holidays. But the problem, again, is that I know somebody that's having a Christmas, like a company Christmas party next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Already
the festivities and the drinking and eating is beginning.
And the other thing you have to think about is that if you have a New Year's resolution, what day does it start? Yeah. Not on New Year's. Yeah. Because you're eating with your family and hanging out. So it starts the day after. Except the problem is that New Year's is on a Thursday. And then Friday, I think it's on a Thursday this year.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're right.
Thursday or Friday. Anyway, so it actually butts right up to the weekend is what I'm trying to say. And since you have the whole weekend, are you going to start something new, like eating better?
I think you start now.
That's a good idea.
I mean, think about it from a business standpoint, right? The healthier you are, the healthier your business will be because you're coming into work anyways, with a clear mind. You're feeling better. Your energy levels are up. The two go hand in hand. Some of the most successful guys and gals that I've been around, when I get into talking about personal stuff and their lives at home and how active they are, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they exercise. They're staying active. They're eating well. They realize that there's a ripple effect to not taking care of yourself. And it doesn't mean you have to be a fitness freak and, do everything to the ultimate extent. But like staying active and realizing that, it's not just for you, it's for the company, it's for the employees, it's for their families. I mean, there's so many people that can be affected by you not taking care of yourself.
There's a great parallel between what you're doing for yourself as far as nutrition goes and your everyday eating habits and your workout routines, and on the business side too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of because if you stay disciplined through the holidays, we always have that one day that we take off during the week. If most of the time, but if you decide, well, I'm going to take Thanksgiving off and then, Black Friday, that's of course.
Yeah.
That's another holiday, so I can take that day off, and then it carries over to Saturday, then Sunday. We do the same thing whenever we're in a business setting, is that, okay, we take one day off, we let things go by, you don't answer your email, and then the next day you're like, I don't have time to invest in this email, and then you put it off, and then you're behind.
Yeah. How quickly that ripple effect starts.
And you can't take off for the holidays. You really can't kick off right now.
Yeah. And I know that's so that's actually one of our business tips that we're going to be doing that today is going to be talking about that, staying focused through the holidays. And, this whole idea of you take the last month or so off. How many people do we know are saying, oh, well, it's already the holidays. They kind of write it off. Well, that's 10% of your year. So we're going to talk about that in the segment coming up. And all that. I mean, staying focused, staying active, staying healthy. I mean, for me, I know like my business changed when I made a decision to start becoming active in endurance running. This was back, I was 27 or so, 26 maybe. I was doing fine professionally, like everything was okay. But it wasn't until I said, you know what, I'm going to start dedicating some time to myself, to my health, to my mental well-being, that I started seeing things in my life change, even leading up to doing the Texas Freedom Run last year. I ran over 30 marathons in 30 days, took an entire month off of work, and everything came together. It's like I was able to do more because I was staying more active. And by being more active, you're able to manage your time better. You're able to deal with the stress better. You're able to delegate. And I mean, I saw a tremendous ripple effect.
Well, being active also increases your mental capacity. How many times do you go out for a run, say it's a 30-minute, maybe 40-hour run, and you work out so many things in your head for that day?
I know, right?
If you do it early in the morning, it's like you have all these things against you. And it's easy to put it off and say, I'm not going to do it, and to be lazy. But if you go and do that 30-minute run, it gives you a time to really focus on the things that are important. And you work out a lot of those problems in your head so that you have a plan of action whenever you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, and even if you don't, I mean, you're right. You either work them out or you realize that they weren't things to worry about. You can get it through during that time of exercise, fitness, whatever you're doing. And it doesn't have to just be running. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You can be active in golf, maybe walk the golf course rather than riding the cart. Just one day a week. Just pick something to add some type of a little bit more rigorous activity to your calendar, and then you can kind of compound on that. You don't have to change everything to where one day you're just going to the gym every single day for 2 hours. Just add a little bit at a time until it starts becoming a life habit. I think that's the best way, to get into a system of doing it.
And a common factor between working out, if you're going to do a run, and maybe going to the golf course, is that you're setting aside a certain amount of time that you can not have your phone on you. Because whenever you're running, you can't run and answer emails or text messages or take calls. You're taking that 30 minutes to stay away from this technology. You should probably do the same thing on the golf course because it allows your mind some time to kind of wander a little bit and really work out things that are important to you without having all these outside influences going on. Our phone, over this past weekend, my phone died. I had I think 17% left on my phone at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Zone, man.
And I didn't have any way to charge it because we were camping. We were tailgating. We were camping. I was hanging out with buddies. I didn't have my phone for 13 hours. I didn't realize how freeing it was not to have this thing strapped to me. Now, in a business setting, it's not the same thing. But having that time to really allow yourself to be free of it and not be strapped to a device all the time. It's really important.
Clear the mind. You can do it through meditation, you can do it through exercise, whatever it may be, but find some time to dedicate and clear your mind to thinking about what your professional environment is, what you need to do to get that promotion, what you need to do to get the advancement or to grow the business or to do whatever it is you need to do. Running, exercising, going to the gym for me has changed my life, has changed my ability to do more with my time, become more systematic in how I approach each day because I find intentional moments in time throughout the day to do certain types of things.
What about yoga? Have you done yoga?
Yeah, I've done it before. I'm kind of a high energy type guy. So for me, yoga's cool. I like it. I just like a little bit more contact. I like total depletion. I go running, when I did all those marathons, I like the just being completely drained at the end of that exercise, doing a 20-mile run on the weekend and just feeling, I like that.
It's that runner's high. It's that runner's high that you get.
Runner's high, or going to the gym and, hitting a new PR or lifting a certain amount of weight. For me, I like that. Yoga just, I don't know, it was cool. I just wasn't for me, but it's definitely good. Low impact. You can still get some form of cardio. There's a couple different types of yoga, I know. So, yeah, it's not a bad one.
And you're also incorporating the family into this because I saw that your wife did 11 miles.
Yeah. Oh, man. So my wife's training for her first half marathon, which is great. And I've been so supportive of her through this process that I told her, I was like, hey, look, on all of your long runs, I'll go with you and I'll kind of pace you out and I'll be there with you to help give you the tips. But I haven't been training. I haven't been running. I've been in the gym a lot. So each weekend, her mileage is progressing, getting longer and longer, to where last weekend I'm doing an 11-mile run without any training at all. Oh, man. Yeah, that was rough. But luckily, I've done a lot of running. So my body kind of got into you get muscle memory and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm starting to think back, like, how did I ever run so much? I don't know.
You just do it.
You put your head down and go.
Nike's got it right.
Yeah. And if all that isn't enough, think about just during that time, I read something where it said the average person who gains weight during the holidays will gain, on the average, 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about a good diet, if you're doing a good diet, good exercise, good nutrition, you can lose a pound or two a week. So even if you're like intentionally trying to lose that weight come January, I mean, you're 5 to 10 weeks out from just getting back to where you were before the holidays. So, I mean, don't fall into that trap. I mean,
a lot of people don't like the fact that they're losing weight so slow. 1 pound is not enough for them. But if you think about this, in a year, if you lose a pound a week,
yeah,
that's 52 pounds right there.
Yeah.
If you lose 2 pounds a week, which is a little extreme, that's on the higher end, 100 pounds, you don't have that much to lose.
I would venture to say most people who feel they need to lose weight don't need to lose 50 pounds.
Correct.
We're talking 10, 15, 20 pounds. You could do that in a short amount of time, adapting, changing your lifestyle. So get out there, stay focused on being healthy. Don't overindulge, this season. Stay active. Think about your health. Start thinking about your next year now rather than getting in January.
Fantastic. Up next, we got the business tip. That's Jason Arsmont, the Marketing Maverick. I'm Josh Reno. We're coming right back on The Hook.
Well, close your eyes and dream with me. I'm going on a trip through history.
It's the Thanksgiving edition. Well, after Thanksgiving, is it Black Saturday? Is that a thing? Edition of
White
The Hook.
Saturday.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
You have Cyber Monday coming up. My name is Josh Reno, along with the Marketing Maverick. That's Jason Arsmont. And we're doing our business tip. This is being brought to you by Shadowbox Talent, who we've talked about quite a few times. And if you go to thehookradio.com, you can hear that we did an interview with Callie and Gary Valentine, who are the guys that head up the efforts over at Shadowbox Talent. Tell us a little bit about it, though.
Yeah, just your full HR outsourcing group, right? From staffing, recruiting, your traditional things, all the way down to HR support and management, writing, employee handbooks and processes, to really handling your full payroll processing and outsource. So they are a full, complete HR outsourcing solution. So if you have any areas within your HR department that you're uncertain about or thinking, man, I could use a little bit of support here or there, they can provide just a little bit or the full package. Check them out, shadowboxtalent.com.
And I've heard them fight for their clients before.
Yeah.
Tell you what, she doesn't let anything get by her. She fights for it every single day.
You're not just a number with these people. They actually take care of you. You get ownership involvement. They've just been a great, great resource for us as a client of theirs. All of my other companies use them as our HR group. So they've just been phenomenal and highly, highly recommend them for sure.
Right now it's time for our business tip of the week, and this week it is...
So I love the holidays. We were talking before. We heard some Christmas music coming on. We're like, man, I like this music. I like this time of year. But there's just this one thing about this year that just bugs me, man. It's so much wasted time. From a business standpoint, it is unbelievable how many people come really a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, just start checking out altogether. They're like, oh, well, hey, the holidays are here. Everybody's going to be taking off. Nothing's going to happen. We got 6 weeks left of the year.
It's a month and a half vacation to them.
Yeah. Well, but think about that. That's 6 weeks. That's almost 10, 15% of your year. Once you add in a couple other vacations throughout the year, you're talking about 20% of your year you're just writing off.
That's half of a quarter right there you're saying bye-bye to.
Yeah. That's 10, 15% revenue. That's 10, 15%, lead generation, process implementation, looking at your branding, marketing effort. I mean, that's a lot of potential non-return. I mean, this stuff your company's just not going to work for that period of time. To me, that's just insane. And so, I always look at it. Always happens. Come January, somebody's calling me. We normally get that 10 or 15 calls in the middle of January where somebody, hey, we're ready to go for the new year. I'm like, great, well, catch us up on how last year went. Well, I went this with this. Everything went good first, second, third quarter. Things kind of dropped off the last part of last quarter, those holiday seasons. And it's just like, man, well, look, when we go in and we do business consulting, which is something I do fairly often, I look for marginal gains, right? 2 to 5% in each department. So that I can have a greater gain overall. Like, going in and telling somebody that I'm going to help increase their bottom line profit by 20% can seem really like unbelievable. But when you start looking at each department, you say, okay, well, what if we just increase leads by 2 to 5%? What if we increase the close rate by 2 to 5%? And what if we decrease the return or the cancellation of service by 2 to 5%? I mean, you can see how this starts to compound and builds up over time to where all of a sudden now you do have a good 20, 25%, increase in bottom line profitability. Well, you can throw all that out the window if you take the entire last 6, 7, 8 weeks of the year off because, it's the holidays. I'm doing air quotes, by the way, for those that can't see me.
Everybody can see you.
Everybody can see me. We got to get one of those webcam things in here.
Right.
So, I just I struggle with that, and I know I think we're all guilty of it. I've definitely done it before. But when I open up my eyes, doing that Freedom Run last year and spending a month away from the office and leading up to that, I had to get very intentional with all of my time. Like there's no wasted weekends. I relax, I take time off, but come Sunday afternoon, I'm finding a quiet spot somewhere to start thinking about the week ahead. Start thinking about what am I going to do each day to be successful? How am I going to overcome some objections that I know are going to come up on my plate? How am I going to do something different or a little bit more, a little bit better than I did last week? And I think we have to do that here at the end of the year, guys. We're here. We got basically 4 or 5 weeks left this year. They're not wasted. We don't have to just do nothing. If your clients are being quiet, I get it. Maybe you can't close some new deals, but let's take some time here to look at the internal part of our business. What can we do to increase our brand? What can we do to increase our internal communications? Are there some intranets that we need to work on, right? Our internal websites, our internal communications. All of that is extremely important. I mean, you were talking about some issues you were having with some websites here recently, right, Josh?
So a couple of my clients, we have websites that we're in the process of getting all the assets, which means that we're collecting data from my clients and getting some answers on a few things here and there because we want to get the websites kicked off. The website is a longer process. It's going to take you for a website that is a certain amount of pages. I mean, just the average, probably 4 to maybe could be 8, maybe 12 weeks on the bigger websites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if we're waiting for you, or if we're waiting for a client to get started till after Thanksgiving, it's not going to happen. That's why I talked to these clients and I said, we have these websites that we're going to build for you. We're ready to go. We just need these few things. So let us do the work during the holidays. That way we don't need to gather any information from you. We don't have to gather those assets or get anything answered. You let us be on cruise control while you handle everything else at the office. Because if I'm trying to get those answers, a lot of times they're going to take off and it's going to be 4 or 5 weeks. And then it turns out to the beginning of the year and you want your website now. Well, it could have been finished. It could have been ready to go and for us to look through and really kind of go over it with a fine-tooth comb so that we could be ready for that first week, second week of January.
Yeah, see, I just don't let up anymore during this holiday season. In fact, one of the things that we do, business owners, department heads, something that you guys can do too, is I actually increase the amount of meetings. Just add one extra meeting per week, even if it's just a 15. We do a ton of these 15-minute power meetings where we come in with a very simple objective. Everybody answers yes or no. We go around the room, and then we're done. We're out. But build one extra layer of accountability during this time of year. Just something where you can ask key people on the team, hey, are we achieving our internal objection? Maybe we can't go get new business. I get that because that's where everybody's going to email me. Well, my clients are gone. They're all on vacation. Odds are they're not, but just say they are. There's still plenty of things that we can do internally to clean house, get ready for January so that we can hit the ground running full speed ahead.
And we actually just did that. We reorganized our internal communication, or the process that we go through just because of that, so that we didn't get in a more lax setting. Because it seemed like we were falling to these okay, we're going to have these meetings in, and you kind of saved everything. Well, we changed our structure of that, and it made it easier for us to get kicked off easier on a Monday because we knew our objectives. We knew what we had to complete that day and throughout the beginning of the week.
Yeah, I love just changing things up, and this is a great time to do that. Sometimes I just do it throughout the year because simply changing up how things are done can give new life, new energy to your team. And so a lot of times, oh man, how many years we did our production meetings at the end of each week, right? Or no, actually, I'm backwards. We started doing them at the end, but we were doing a Monday morning, first thing of the week. We'd come in, we'd hold our production meeting, and we'd say, okay, we're going to outline everything for the week to come. But what we realized is people were coming into that meeting, they were still tired. It's Monday morning, 8 o'clock. The last thing you want to do is be held accountable for things that haven't happened yet. So we switched that whole meeting to Friday. We do it mid-morning, 10 or 11 o'clock. And now we say, okay, well, here's what you're going to be expected to do first thing when you get in Monday. So we'll start the week off, full steam ahead. Since everybody takes Friday afternoon off, it's hard to get people motivated and get people going. People are out of the office, right? Another one of those things that I completely disagree with, but let's try it. So we did that, and man, it's been working extremely well.
It makes it easier for strategists like me and you to go out on a Monday, too. We can go and have that early morning meeting on a Monday with our clients. Because a lot of times if we're blocking out most of Monday, but we want to get on top of things for the week, then we're cutting them out of the process.
Right.
So if we have that meeting on Friday, it just makes a lot more sense for our organization. Doesn't mean it's going to make sense for everybody like that. For us, it's perfect because we have our design team, our development team, our videos, everything that's going on, they can actually hit the ground running on a Monday.
Yeah, and I've just seen everybody kind of, they perk up a little bit more. They're paying a little bit more attention because you've changed some of the meeting dates or whatever. So try that within your organization. Shoot us an email. Go to thehookradio.com. Let us know how it works. I've done it several times over the past 5, 6, 7 years, and it's worked extremely well for me, and I'd love to get your feedback and see how it works for you guys.
And something else to think about is whenever you have the meetings, that's great, but whenever you have get-togethers with everybody on your team, you provide lunch, you have everybody sitting in one place talking about other things besides work, that really increases productivity too, I think. You're taking an hour out of your day, you're giving back to your team, and you're really getting more out of it afterwards. But they're like, that was great. We had a good time, and now we're back doing stuff. And you really kind of get re-energized with that.
No, absolutely.
It's fun at the workplace.
Yeah. And if you are just completely blanking right now on what to do, what to focus on during this slow time of year, go grab a copy of The Brand Book. We just launched it a couple weeks ago. It's on Amazon. You can search The Brand Book, and it will pull up. It's a step-by-step guide to building or validating your current brand position and strategy. So there, you've got an assignment, you got something to do and focus on during the holiday.
You can also check us out on thehookradio.com. Always available, the podcasting, sign up for the newsletter, and ask us questions there, too. Jason Arsemont, Josh Reno here. We're going to come back in just a few minutes. We got our guest in studio.
We got a couple of them. Yeah, Jennifer Moran and Kerry Sprick.
All right, that's on the way on The Hook.
My Maria, don't you know?
We're back, the first ever show about business and marketing and branding all tied in together. In fact, this is our first Thanksgiving episode, and I'm glad you didn't bring any turkey or any dressing or any cakes or any of that stuff.
No sweets, man. Come
no
on.
sweets. This is The Hook, always online. You can find us at thehookradio.com. That's Jason Arsemont, the Marketing Maverick. My name is Josh Reno, marketing strategist over at Brightbox Brand Marketing, and we have guests in studio as we do every single week. They're all friends of yours.
Yeah, lucky guy, huh?
Yeah, right?
Well, it's not often that, being a high-energy person, it's not very often that I meet people and I get to surround myself with people who almost match or overdo that. And the women that we've got in studio today are just high energy. They're health and fitness and wellness minded. And so it's really an honor to have them here today. They're going to talk with us a little bit about health, nutrition, fitness, everything that we've been talking about leading up to this segment. So today we've got Jennifer Moran and Kerry Sprick. Thank you guys so much for coming in studio.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's maybe before we get into some of it, why don't you guys give us a little bit of just a background about yourself. Kerry, you want to go? You're closest here, so.
Sure, I'm right next to you. I'm Kerry Sprick, and thanks again for having me, Jason. I am the founder of a company called OneSpark, and we see ourselves as agents of change, helping people who are really motivated to make the changes that they want to make in their health to make those transformations. And we work with individuals and small groups to make that possible. We look at nutrition, we look at movement and exercise. And then the thing that I love to really focus on, because it's a personal passion of mine, is what's going on in their head and their heart. Because to me, the nutrition and the exercise stuff, frankly, has been well documented. And I say to some of my clients, you can read that stuff in a book, but you can't figure out what's in your head and your heart until you really do the work. And so that's my personal focus.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's hard to get started, too, if like you're new to fitness and health and eating well, if your head's not right.
Absolutely. If you're not feeling it, then, but oftentimes that is why people call me. They know there's something broken. They can't quite figure out why. They're picking the donuts over the apples. They know they're not supposed to, and they call me to help them figure out the reason.
Gosh, all right. Well, I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that. Jennifer, maybe fill us in on you. Where are you at?
Well, I have a background in pharmaceutical sales for years. I was a cardiovascular specialty rep for about 15 years, but probably for the last 10 years now, I've been involved in direct sales. And most recently, and something that I'm quite passionate about, and one of the reasons I've kind of partnered up with Kerry over here, who's amazing, is I'm actually a national presidential director and corporate trainer for a brand new health and wellness company called IDLife. And we're basically revolutionizing the way people think about health and wellness. In fact, we basically say that IDLife is not a company. We're more of a movement, which is where I think Kerry and I definitely line up a lot. Because, in direct sales, a lot of times it's really a lot about the financial side of things, or it's very just product focused, which our products are amazing. But we also say at IDLife that we really try to look at the whole person and how to help them individually design their life, not just physically and financially, but also spiritually, mentally, relationally, emotionally, which really ties into the whole head-heart thing that Kerry alluded to earlier. So it's been amazing.
And you've been on a transformation yourself, right? Over the past, was it 4 or 5 months now? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny. I got involved with IDLife about 18 months ago. We're an 18-month-old company owned by Troy Aikman. Jen Wiederstrom from The Biggest Loser is one of our owners.
Just a couple small people, yeah.
Yeah. 3 billionaires, including a member of the Ross Perot family. But no, it's an amazing company. I think the reason people really jump on board with IDLife is because they saw the vision of what we're trying to do out there with health and wellness. And a lot of that vision, ironically, attached itself to me, really sent me through a transformation where, to make a very long story short, my 18-year-old daughter and I trained for 16 weeks for a bodybuilding competition. And it's kind of funny. I've sort of been into fitness sort of on a weekend warrior type basis. I know, Jason, you and I have talked about running quite a bit. I used to do half marathons and run and, work out at the gym, but never have I been down a path like this at 48 years of age. I'm 48 years old. I have 3 kids who, are growing up right before my very eyes. And just over the years, the pounds had packed on. I mean, I was 25 pounds, probably overweight. And, at the point that I started this 16-week transformation, and we went through 16 weeks of meal planning, workouts. Of course, I incorporated all the IDLife products as well, but it helped me step on stage and place top 5 in Masters 45-plus bikini for NPC back on July 11th at the Branch Moran. So it was exciting. And probably a reciprocal effect, talking about head-heart with Kerry, is it mentally had an impact on a lot of women, especially out there that were my age, as well as men. I've had men and women reach out to me just saying, hey, I've seen what you've done at the age that you're at. I mean, no offense, not that it's not like I have one foot in the grave and one on a banana peel, but they're just like, to be 48 years old and live the lifestyle that I live too. I'm very busy with my business. I travel a lot. A lot of people are asking, how'd you do that? Why did you do that? And now you've inspired me to maybe try to not necessarily compete in a bodybuilding competition, but to really get out there and start focusing on my health goals.
Yeah,
so
take your health to the next level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable transformations. Just so inspiring. It was such a pleasure to follow you and to see that you're continuing to do it. I know I'm up in my gym game now since I'm not running quite as much these days, but I
want to know how scary it is to get on that stage.
Oh,
basically naked.
Yeah.
I mean, for us normal people, you're in a bathing suit. Come on. I mean, that's extremely intimidating.
And be judged.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I needed to bring you along, Kerry, is maybe I needed the psychotherapist in the room here to figure out my mental process and all that. But No, my 18-year-old daughter just came home one day. She'd played soccer all through high school. And, I know, Jason, you and I were talking about, you can be fit at any age. And obviously, it seems like teenagers and young adults are always really fit. But, my daughter had some fitness goals in mind for herself. She knew she wasn't going to be playing soccer at the University of Alabama, where she was going off to school in the fall, but she wanted to stay in shape. And she had followed a girl on Instagram that had inspired her through social media. But it was kind of funny because when she walked in my kitchen, I'll never forget it, she said, hey, Mom, I'm following this girl on Instagram, and I think I want to do a bikini competition, which my first words out of my mouth were heck no, because I'm picturing like, bikini competition in a bar somewhere, like seedy.
Yeah.
And she said,
Hawaiian
no,
Tropic
Mom, it's just a class of bodybuilding, know? And I honestly just showed up just to pay the trainer. And the trainer looked at her and said, you need an accountability partner, which I know Kerry and I have talked quite a bit about. Part of the mental process in fitness a lot of times can really be shored up by getting an accountability partner.
Yeah, definitely.
My 18-year-old daughter called me out. She looked at me and said, well, Mom, you're the #1 income earner in a health and wellness company. It wouldn't hurt you to do it, because just looking me up and down. Yeah, that hurt. That hurt a little.
Like, all right, sweetie.
So I thought, challenge on, challenge accepted. And but I never intended to compete. I just thought this might be a great way to spend some time with my daughter and get in shape. I had no idea that I'd step on that stage,
so that
but it was
kind of
scary.
your mental trigger, and I know, Kerry, you're talking about, mentally getting ready, and are you in a place mentally where you can start doing something like that? Are those kind of similar hurdles that you see? Is it normally some big movement within your life that causes people to get
Sometimes
active?
it can be a big movement. We were talking yesterday, as a matter of fact, about the motivational piece, and I have this concept called the third trigger. And you have to go through a couple of different triggers to really get serious. The first one, I would say, would be an external motivation, like your doctor has said, you need to lose 25 pounds, or you're going to be really ill, or you've already gotten sick, or you've had a heart attack. Awful. And you are in a place where you have got to make some changes, but those are still externally driven. The next level might be you have an event coming up, a family reunion or a wedding or something where you want to look better than you do. And you have a little bit of runway and you can do it, and you're planning out, 6 months ahead. Oh my God, I've got to buy that formal dress. But you really don't get serious about your work until a few months ahead of time. And then it's an emergency and you get drastic and you start doing the 21-day cleanse and you do this and you do that. And maybe you lose some of the weight, but you haven't gotten all the way there. Hopefully you will continue, but I would still say that was an external motivator and short term, and the real heartfelt need to do it has not been really connected yet. The third trigger is the one that gets you up to run at 5 o'clock in the morning in the rain, when you know it's the right thing to do no matter what, where you have become so, quote unquote, addicted to it that not doing it causes you angst. Then you have it in your heart that it's part of your composition and that you won't leave it alone for the rest of your life. And I think Jennifer's doing a great job. You're continuing on, even after the competition has ended.
Yeah, and I think so many of our listeners, whether it's business or it's health and fitness, people assume that, guys that run across Texas or, ladies that do these transformations are like unique individuals. And we were talking before about, it's not just genetics. I mean, have you battled that with Jennifer, with people saying, oh, well, that's probably for people like you? And you're like, no. I'm just like you. I'm just like everybody else.
Exactly. It is kind of funny because I do get that a lot from just people who have known me throughout my life. They're like, well, Jennifer, that's just you. I mean, you take things and you go at them 110%. And that is a little bit of my personality. But, back to what Kerry said about her third trigger, which I think is an amazing concept that she's put out there. And it's the truth. It's just like, quite frankly, Jason, with you, when we had dinner, all those months ago, your third trigger was the charity that you were so passionate about that got you out there running across Texas for Love 146, which was absolutely amazing. And I think when people attach themselves to a why, that is really, like Kerry said, that's what'll get them out of bed at 5 a.m. in the rain. But also long term, I think if you put yourself out there, I think one of the things that really helped me is I made myself accountable to the entire world. I put myself out there on Facebook, on Instagram, and told everybody I was doing this.
Build that credibility.
Yeah. And so every time I ran into people, they were like, hey, I'm watching you on Facebook. I'm rooting for you. Or, when's your show coming up? And it holds you accountable. So, there was a little quote I put up at one point when I was having to speak about this later for IDLife. And it was basically, I thought about quitting until I remembered who was watching. Because if nothing else, I just want people to know that I finished the race.
Yeah.
Regardless of how it came out, that I set a goal and I accomplished it, because you don't see that a lot.
Back to the Fence is still pulling forward. We got more to come next segment with these two ladies.
All right, more of The Hook. We got that coming back next. And don't forget, you can always check us out online, thehookradio.com.
It ain't in a
This is the Thanksgiving edition of The Hook. My name is Josh Reno, along with Jason Arsmont. Some great guests in studio that you'll tell us about in just a second. This is brought to you by the Work Lodge. Some friends of ours.
Yeah, don't
right
forget our
down the
guys
road.
over there.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're looking for a great place to work that allows you to feel like confident about going to work every day, interviewing employees, maybe having clients out, but you don't have the money to do a big office space, you've got to check out the Work Lodge. I mean, it's unbelievable.
2 words, disco ball.
Disco ball.
That's it.
Spinny slide thing.
They have the slide. They have a disco ball. It's a lot of
they've got
fun.
This really
I'm in.
cool.
Yeah, right?
They got this really cool tech feel to them. Almost feels like a Silicon Valley right there in Spring, Texas. 249 in Louetta. Check them out at theworklodge.com. Thank you guys over there.
And you can also listen to Mike's interview we had just a few weeks ago on thehookradio.com too. So,
all right,
well,
we're back with our guests. We got Jennifer Moran and Kerry Sprick here in studio. We're talking about health and fitness and how to get started. I'm sure our listeners are wondering, how do they get in touch with you guys? Kerry, what's the best way for people to reach out?
Well, I've got a website, thatonespark.com, and I also have a Facebook page where I post tips and aggregate content that I find relevant to what I'm trying to promote, and that is OneSpark to Health.
Great. How about you, Jennifer? What's the best way for people to reach out?
Well, I'm got a big presence on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Jennifer Merritt Moran, Maret Moran. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram as Jen Moran Texas, Jen Moran TX.
Okay.
1N. And then my website for IDLife is www.gettheidlife.com. Gettheidlife.com.
Awesome.
So.
During the break there, we were talking a little bit about, Kerry said she's got some tips on how to, stay focused or how to keep through the holidays, right? Don't get too far off track. Maybe you want to share some of those with us, and, folks can obviously go to the website and get all the details, but then I do want to talk with you guys a little bit about business, a business show, so I'm going to have to drill you guys about how you stay motivated here during the holidays.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's definitely tackle this. I'm really excited to hear some of these tips you got for us.
You bet. All right. So I'll publish the rest of these on my Facebook page shortly, but here are a couple of them that I like to tell people. First of all, every day is the same day during the year. There's really no special moment other than I personally love Thanksgiving, and I do give myself a bit of a break on Thanksgiving. However, I also didn't eat leftovers yesterday. That's my trick.
Yep.
So whatever
All right.
I did Thursday, I didn't repeat on Friday, and I allow myself that one day of the year. But generally speaking, I also say there's really no such thing as a need for a New Year's resolution. What's so special about January 1 when it comes to your health? Today
Thank
is just as
you. I love
important
it. Yeah.
as next month. So keep it going or get started.
Yeah.
And so question 1 would be, what's one thing that you know is healthy that you could do today?
Yep.
Whatever it is. Maybe it's go for a walk, take the dog. Maybe it's, or take your kids. Maybe it's get to the gym. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just do something. But in terms of generally getting through the holidays, I have a number of tips that I say, here are the holiday 5, those 5 pounds that none of us really want to gain but often do. Let's send them packing somewhere else. And the first thing I would say is know where you're starting. So today, go throw on a pair of jeans or an outfit that you love and look at yourself and use that as your gauge and put them on or take a look at yourself every week and see how you're doing. So measure yourself is number 1. Number 2, I also say no grazing at the buffet. If you're going to go to a party and enjoy it, take a few tidbits off of the buffet, but you really don't need to stand there and have a conversation.
Really, it is as simple as just don't do the dessert, right? Like I know people are like, oh, well, my whole life has changed. It's not your whole life. Just cut back one dessert, right? I mean, it can make a big, big difference.
Every day, one healthy choice. It's an easy thing to do.
My friend used to talk about this. I'm sorry to break into it, but my friend used to always do around the holidays, she would do TNT. And on her plate, it was always TNT, things not touching. She did not like her food to touch. And whenever you don't have your food to touch, then it's smaller. The smaller portions.
And
that
it
you're gonna get.
takes up more space on the plate that way, too.
you
You
go.
fill it up
Great
faster.
tip.
I also like to say try to eat some vegetables throughout the day. Think Mediterranean, think colorful. Try to stay away from all the white stuff.
Absolutely.
Drink half your weight in ounces in water every day. That will keep you full. It'll keep you hydrated. If you're going to be drinking, obviously it'll help with the hangover. We all have our vices.
Amen.
And enjoy them.
Amen.
So drink tons of
that.
water during the holidays. And if you're already working out or about to get started, do something every day. I promote 30 minutes of cardio every day. It'll obviously keep the pounds down. It'll make sure your metabolism is staying in check. And just don't let it go if you're already doing it, but start doing it if you want to. And that's one good, healthy thing you can do every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, so many people that I talk to, influential people, they're successful, whether it's business or in personal life. I always ask them, what's something that you feel separates you? And it seems to be this common thing of those folks get up every day with a burning desire to do better than they did the day before.
Every day's a new one.
You know, and I love that we're not waiting till January to start a new habit, right? We can do something. It doesn't have to be drastic. Just start something every day, every week, every month, a little bit more than what you did before.
That's right.
I do have one other thing I'd like to promote or just share with everybody, and that is that the holidays aren't always fabulous for everyone.
Yeah.
And many of us have tough moments that we need to get through. So in order to keep yourself from sabotaging your healthy choices, appreciate that those moments are going to happen, plan for them, recognize that they're out there, and seek help. Call a friend, plan a movie, do something that will help you get through that anniversary date or that incident or that memory that you really want to try to just not affect you. Take control of it. Don't give it the power. Call for help.
Yeah, there's so many out there right now that are going to definitely be struggling with that, whether they're already have some other issues going on in their lives or, you know, we're always praying for our veterans and we know what they're going through, especially during this time of year that they're getting kind of reacclimated to kind of civilian life and some of these things. So absolutely great tip.
And boredom is a huge issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have all those things going on and you're bored, that's a good point.
Yep.
Call someone else, talk to someone, find some things to do, plan ahead.
And make it
Exactly.
different, because if it's the same, you're going to stay in your same rut. Call someone you haven't talked to in a long time. Write a letter. Do something that is just new, and that'll allow your head and your heart, as I keep saying, to just begin to start thinking about things differently and give you the power back.
I want to talk a little bit about business. Like I said, this is a tough time. Both of you guys are kind of self-employed, right? Small businesses. I'm in the same boat. How do you guys stay focused during this time of year when everybody else is writing it off? Oh, it's the holidays. You can just, give up on the rest of the year, which I just can't stand. What you guys got any tips, any advice? How are you staying motivated?
I always say, do today what others don't so you can have tomorrow what others won't. I mean, especially with a small business owner, or any business owner, when you're running your own business, you really have to look at the long-term goals that you've set out for yourself. And, success doesn't take a vacation. I mean, if that's really your ultimate quote-unquote destination, even though we know it's not ever the final destination, but it's the truth. I mean, you read the profiles of some of the people that are hugely successful. Like I know I was reading about how Bill Gates, for example, never took a vacation for like 8 years when he was founding Microsoft. So, this is the foundational stages of your business if you're a small business, and you've got to put in the hours. But I'm also a big believer, even though Kerry and I kind of disagreed on this yesterday, but I always say, everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yeah.
Which Kerry may want to weigh in on that. But you got to give yourself some time to celebrate the holidays and to process all that. And,
especially in your work. I mean, like you're a master networker, so you can kind of do that almost anywhere. I mean, I've seen you posting on Facebook about being on a quote-unquote vacation, but you're still getting leads and you're building your business and you're doing some unbelievable things on vacation. So I love that.
Absolutely. Well, that's part of the reason I love IDLife, and I actually love the network marketing and direct sales industry so much. Is I'm a huge believer in residual income and being able to build something that you can walk away from that will continue to pay you. And I ask people out there always, what are you getting paid on today that you did 5 years ago? And the answer for almost everybody is nothing. So it's good to tap into residual income. Sometimes direct sales is a way to do that. Some people find it in other venues, writing books or establishing blogs or subscription, social media type based things, whatever it is for you, rental income through real estate. But, that's huge. But through the holidays, being a networker, this is my favorite time of year. So
Right.
I'm at holiday parties, man, talking to people. So
and it's actually
I love
my
it.
favorite time of the year also. This is when I gain the majority of my annual clients.
Really?
Right
Great.
now,
See?
because they're eating, they're not working out, and I am, and I make it through, and they're going, So I am.
Something's not adding up over here
This
on my
is my
side.
busy season,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I also would say for anybody that does, enjoy the holiday season in a potentially different way, use the quiet time to plan ahead, put your, annual thoughts together about what worked or didn't work this year, and figure out what you might want to try to do differently for next year so that you're not all of a sudden rearranging your business plan January 1. Again, there is no new day better than today to do something new and different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a great time to build your business, no matter what business you're in. I mean, going back to Josh's point about, make sure you're not bored from the mental health standpoint. Well, you know what? Say yes to those holiday parties. Get out there, put yourself out there, and network your business.
Yeah.
Make those business connections. Get to know people. Find out what their needs are. And one thing we say a lot in direct sales and network marketing is not everybody's a producer. Some people are just introducers. And that's okay.
Right.
So you may run into somebody who may not necessarily line up with your business or be beneficial to your business from a actual customer or money revenue standpoint, but they might be able to introduce you to somebody who is.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
huge.
funny. I know
That sounds like me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. People always ask me how within, 7, 8, 10 years now that I've been able to build 7, 8 different companies and have all these employees. Well, it's really because I network. I take advantage of opportunity. When I see something, I collaborate with somebody else. I partner with other people, and amazing things happen. So, when you go to networking events and you're out going around this holiday season and you're interacting with more people, just look for opportunities.
Yeah.
There's tons of them there. And like I say, you don't have to be the producer of something great. Find somebody else that's great and leverage it.
Yeah, and to me, the basis of the entire holiday season is love, to love one another. And in business, I believe that a rising tide raises all ships. So just like when Kerry and I met yesterday, honestly, she's been part of IDLife for a while, and yesterday was our first lunch together, but as soon as we started talking, I thought about you, Jason, and I thought this is somebody that I need to network together because, she's very passionate about a lot of things that we line up on, but she also has her own other businesses too that she does and you do as well. But fitness is what united us, obviously, in health and wellness.
Yeah.
But it's good if you can raise others up in their business and you get to meet people over the holidays where you can really help them promote their businesses, and in turn, they'll help promote yours.
Absolutely. Give us your contact information one more time.
I'm at Kerry at thatonespark.com, or you can find me on Facebook at OneSpark to Health.
Yes, and I'm Jennifer Moran, and you can find me at gettheidlife.com. That's my website, gettheidlife.com, or you can find me on Facebook, social media. I'm all over the place. I'm out there.
Just some great women. We're so excited to have you guys in the studio. I know there's just a wealth of knowledge, and hopefully the listeners are getting that coming through the radio airways here. But remember, go back and listen to it if you tuned in late at thehookradio.com. Next week's show, we got a good one, man.
Got a great guest.
Yeah, we've got Oliver Luck. For those who don't know, Oliver is a former Houston Oilers quarterback. He's also was one of the responsible parties for bringing the Dynamo soccer franchise to Houston, and now sits on the NCAA Regulatory Commission. So excited and just honored to have Mr. Luck in studio. Well, actually, won't be in studio. He's out of state, but he'll be calling in, and we're still going to have a great show with him.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. I'm Josh Reno, along with the marketing maverick, Jason Arsmont. Always find us at thehookradio.com.
Doesn't